10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday night. It is time for Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight I'm losing my voice because I've had a bout of illness. I've been throwing up for the last 24 hours, but the show must go fucking on. And I have a great guest tonight. I have party boy Jax Jordan on the show. But guys, before I bring out Jax, I'm going to take a quick second, a quick pause, a quick moment to thank some of those amazing sponsors that help this show keep going and keep being possible. First up is Sleefs.com. That is SLEEFS, Sleefs.com. Guys, if you're an athlete or someone you know is an athlete, you need to check out Sleefs. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, compression socks, headbands, mouth guards, boots, and they've even got the dirty boxes. Guys, you've heard me rave about the fucking dirty boxes for ages. They're the most comfortable boxes that I own. I got rid of all my old boxes. They stay fresh, they stay dry, and they're comfortable, and they've got some cool funny designs on the front to keep that special person in your life giggling when the belt buckle comes undone, if you know what I'm saying. But guys, also, if you're checking out things online, go and check out healthvape.com. If you're one of those dirty smokers or one of those vapors that you're like me, you carry a vape, you make big noises and big clouds everywhere, go and check out healthvape.com. They are your healthy vaping alternative. All of their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals, and they're vitamin infused. So guys, check out healthvape.com. Use promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Whew. Guys, you know what? My voice is starting to crack. I think I'm going to turn into Tony Schimmel, like superstar. I can't even do it. But guys, we got a few people here in the live crowd. We got Kyle Ead here. But if you're tuning into the MWA Podcast Network, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, share, comment. If you're finding us on any podcast platform, leave us a 5-star review. We bring you some amazing content like Shooting the Shit Uncensored, like NXT Roundup, like Killing the Business with former ECW original, the Kingpin, Angel Medina, and King Mega, and also Knights of the Gimmick Table with Cade Lothbrock and the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing shows. But guys, without further ado, I'm going to bring out my guest for this evening, Mr. Party Boy Jax Jordan.
Hey,
Jax, welcome to the show, brother.
what's happening?
Man, not much. You're gonna have to excuse my voice tonight. As you can hear, it's pretty much on the way out. So
It's perfectly fine. I'm used to JT Robertson's voice on announcing. Sounds just like it.
my wife's like, "Are you like gonna be doing a John Laws impersonation on this podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, love song dedications with Piers.
No idea the name you just said.
No idea. Now I just feel even older. But bro, thank you for coming on the show. It's been great. It's great to have you on. We've spoken here and there at a few shows, man, and you've always seemed like a guy that really interests me that I'd really love to have on the show and talk to. So, man, thank you for coming on.
I have to apologize for every time I've ever talked to you, only talking to you for like 5 words because I've probably been running around doing something. So I apologize. I'm glad we could actually sit down and speak for a while.
Oh, absolutely, man. No, but I know you're a busy man on show day, man. So like you've got a lot going on. But as far as like getting into it, like PWA's production level, like I've said it from the day one, from the first time I seen a PWA show, like is world class. And I find like what you guys do as far as like the vignettes and everything that goes into it, you can see how much effort and time really goes into the product that you guys put out. And even just like the recording of shows, I find like I watch NXT every single week and do a review show on that. And one thing I'm so critical of is their production, where it's like certain things like they're going to the crowd when there's a pinfall. And it's like I find your level and what you guys do at PWA is just always on point.
Dude, it's definitely like the hardest thing I've ever done, man. Like live switching a show is incredibly hard. So I have all the respect in the world for everyone who does it ever. But I guess like thank you very much for like the compliments about PWA, but I gotta say, like the us guys, the production guys putting in the work that we put in, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We wouldn't be able to sort of put that work in and get the results we get without, the wrestlers putting in the hours at training every day. Like a lot of them train, um, 2 to 3 hours every day. They do 2 hours of training Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then they go to the gym also in that time. So we definitely couldn't do what we do without that. And I guess it was just one of those crazy, like everyone just came together at the right time, right place, and the passion was there for everything to happen. And we built ourselves an amazing team, and we worked really hard. And thank you very much. And I'm glad people are enjoying what we do, and it's all working. It's really hard and stressful, but it's I'm happy it's working, getting out there, and people like yourself are watching it and enjoying it.
Oh, absolutely, man. But one of the things I found interesting is that you're actually a retired wrestler. Like you were in the ring, you decided to step away, but like what made you decide to step away from wrestling? Was it injury related?
No, so like I'd wrestled for a couple of years, and then thank you very much, Robbo. It was one of those things where it was like when I would do PWA shows, I was starting to step up more in the production roles, and it was like getting 50-50 to both things. And I've never wanted to do that. I've always wanted to give 100% to wrestling. And then when I started realizing that I don't want to give 100% to wrestling, I did 50-50 for a little bit, and then I realized like that's the avenue I want to go down now. And I'd rather put 100% into the production side of things, building that half rather than putting 50-50, because then you're just trying to get 50-50 results out of both things. So I pretty happily just sort of stopped wrestling in the ring, just sort of take other roles. And I miss it and I like it. And sometimes I go to training on a Monday or Wednesday and jump in, or a couple of shows here and there, maybe a summer tour here and there. I jump in, but ever since I left, I put on a bit of weight. Life sort of got pretty. I mean, I put 100% into production and all that kind of stuff. So that took over
Sure.
my life, and now I do that, and I'm super happy doing that, and it's awesome. And I'm pretty much just as fulfilled, if not more fulfilled, like in the wrestling world, going out and
Oh,
doing
dude.
that.
And the production side of things is so intense and like so detailed as well. Like, man, I take my hat off to anyone who can do what you guys do, like from the editing to putting things together. It's really challenging.
Yeah, it's just like as I said, like bunch of passionate people getting together, and also just I really don't like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, which is
Yeah.
something that happens a lot in independent wrestling, I think, where a lot of people they'll run shows over and over, like every month. They'll do the exact same thing. They'll
Mm.
have their show, they'll film it on the handy cams, they'll put it on a streaming service somewhere, and then they just keep doing that. And I mean, people are happy doing that. That's awesome, and that's definitely a thing to do. But
Mm.
where we came from in our approach, we really wanted to push everything we could and push the norms and invest. And that's what we did. We invested our time, we invested money, we invested everything we could. Just went all in with this PWA stuff. And it's like now just starting to pay off because we're in a really cool spot. We have the Metro coming up, which is really awesome. Yeah, one of those things. Everything just came together, and we invested it in ourselves, and it's starting to pay off.
And I think that's the most, pardon me. I think that's the most important thing as well, as reinvesting into it. And I think that's what PWA has done really well, as far as investing in the production, investing in performers and everything like that. You can see that there's a lot of effort and time that goes into PWA. It's not just let's just throw a show together and see how we go. It's very well executed. And I think that from the production level as well, because you see some shows you could have the best show on a card, like bell to bell. But if you're sitting at home watching it and the production and the video is shit or the sound is shit, you're not even going to get like halfway through the card before you're hitting that stop button and going next.
Absolutely. I think the live stream was a game changer for us, man. Like, I don't know about you, but there's a lot of wrestling happening in the world, and if it's not live and I'm not watching it live, they'll take it down to a 50% chance that I'm going to watch it. So that was a really big game changer and a really big chance we had to take. It's sort of lucky that it's all a VIP, baby. Jealous out getting the VIP. Happy days. I see Robo here said the storyline with the Bays is really fun. How can you not have fun with Grayson Waller?
Yeah.
How can you not have fun with that guy?
But even Carter Deep as well, man. He's one guy who's absolutely hilarious as well in his own right. Like,
absolutely, man. They had like that storyline was it was really like given to us as like something to do. It was very much like, oh, we don't really have much for you, give this a go. And we both just went, I don't like that. Let's make it something. And then I was like, I'll cut my hair off. Let's do that. That'll be fun. And then on the day we had blunt scissors, and they wouldn't cut through. So I was like, well, guess you got to rip it out. So I ripped out a whole big chunk. And then the next day I like cut it off. It's funny looking back on it, but just everything went so well. I dyed my hair blonde in Adelaide. Like I went to Adelaide the week before, had a Wrestle Rampage show, and then I trained with them for a week. And I ended up like the person that I was staying with, his mum bleached my hair for me.
Oh shit.
And it came out terribly. It was like dehydrated piss. It was terrible. But then like when I got home, I redid it and it looked a little bit better, but not good. And we did the spot. But yeah, I've always wanted to do it. I grew the hair out and wanted it long so that I could, do something like that with it one day. So that was fun.
But as far as like, and now with like, doing what you do with PWA, like, are you like coming up with ideas for like storylines and stuff like that and pitching, go, hey, what about if we do this cool thing where like, what I mean? Because like the Old Man Bonza promo, for example, to me, I thought that was just incredible, world class.
Yeah, generally what happens, that's that one was Ben Anderson, so I can't take any credit for that. That was him and his team. But generally like people will come to us with the idea and the storyline behind it, and then we'll go ahead and work out how we're going to present that. And that's sort of where we come in. We create sort of the container to put that storyline that they're getting in, and we need to try and translate what they're trying to say through cinematic sort of techniques, stuff like that. So that's sort of what we do. But storyline wise, generally that's already brought to us. There's a lot of great minds in wrestling. Usually when you put them all together, it makes really, really cool shit. And even just like testing stuff, things don't work sometimes. There's a lot of videos like that we make, and people don't see them. And that's super okay because like sometimes things just don't work. But that Old Man Bonza promo, that was all Ben Anderson and his team. Such a talented cat. And he's the man. He's a man when it comes to those cinematic masterpieces. And
how do you guys work together? In PWA, like what are the roles there?
we're super different. He's pretty like primarily sort of a film. So he went to school for like filming and cinematography, all that kind of stuff. I never went to school for any of this stuff. I just liked wrestling and made graphics on PowerPoint when I was 15, and then I kept doing it over and over again, and now I make the greatest PWA and I make videos like that. So he generally takes care of a lot of all the video side of stuff, all that kind of stuff. He's the director of most of the of all the live streams we do. He's the sort of real puzzle piece for all the sort of video stuff like that we do. I sort of take care of the graphics, the sort of like the promos you see where it's like we need like a camera set up to film this person, and like the hype video kind of stuff. That's more my kind of role, where she takes care of like the cinematic masterpieces and then like the productions. He takes care of. So that's sort of how we work. And I think it's a really cool mix of the two, because they both, I think, complement each other. Absolutely. Whereas the cinematic pieces will sort of be around forever and they really tell a story. Whereas I sort of work on more promoting each individual show. Putting that kind of stuff in,
like the packages and stuff like that.
Yeah, all those packages and all the sort of announcements, high video, all that kind of stuff is myself, and then he does more of the production video and sort of that the real storytelling, nitty gritty stuff. That the man, his stuff is world class. Like I remember watching, he showed me the prefect's schoolyard brawl. We went upstairs and we all watched it. Me and Jimmy and him watched it together. And I was just in awe. I was like, I've never seen a production in professional wrestling like this. It was the best piece of like cinematography in professional wrestling I've ever seen. And like, I don't think that's matched. I haven't seen anything better than that.
But even the storyline, and I've said this before, that storyline of friends dividing apart is something that can be like relatable to not just wrestling, but to anybody really, because everyone's had that thing where you've just drifted apart from a friend and having that sort of so long, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, hey, fuck you or anything like that. It's just life has just happened and this is the way we go.
And like there were school kids growing up. Like everyone's been a school kid growing up. Everyone, like, man, my friends in high school, I don't know any of them, dude. Like, there's very little of them that I know anymore. And that's no knock on them. That's nothing against them. That's just how life is. So man, it's just it's such a fantastic story, from start to finish. Like their whole everything they did was so incredible. And then that video Ben put together was just the tip of the iceberg, just something really, really good. Actually, no, I made a little hype video in there, so I can take 30 seconds of credit in it. There was like a little like throwback video and of like clips, and that was me. So I'll take 15 seconds of credit.
You've gone from 30 to 15 seconds. It was a group that say that. But, it's interesting, though, like, is, speaking to you, before the show and listening to your love and passion for wrestling, it's like, it's no surprise that you got into wrestling, but I find it surprising that you've took a back step to the in-ring style of it and going the production, because I can imagine that, like, everyone who grows up as a wrestling fan wants to be like the Stone Cold Steve Austin, you know what I mean? Like the guy, the main eventer. It's like, like, what was it for you growing up? Was it always like, I just want to get to WWE, I want to be a professional wrestler? Was it like, what goals did you have when you started this journey?
I was super self-aware when I was like a teenager and a kid. Like I grew up in like I grew up in Wagga Wagga, like small town as well. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And then I moved out to Lockhart, which is like 40 minutes away from it. So my world was super small my whole life. Like I traveled to Sydney a couple of times to like see family, but really my world was super small. And things just didn't seem, not that they didn't seem attainable. I just didn't really like think about them. My world was just so small. But it was always like the thing, when you're a kid, you want to be a wrestler. I didn't really want to be a wrestler. I sort of understood that it hurts, and I understood that sort of my world's pretty small, and I don't think I could do that, and that's probably not something attainable. But then when I turned 16, it was like that question in school where it's like, what do you want to be? You want to be a plumber or fucking fix some cars? I'm like, I guess I should be a wrestler. That's probably what I'll do.
Yeah.
And then at that time, I was 100 kilos. So I was like bigger than I am now. But I was 16, so I was
Yeah.
bad. And then I just started training. I went to like a dream camp, AWF dream camp, where they run like 4 days where you like have a match and stuff. And I did that. And then because I live so far away, I couldn't like do training regularly. And then the dream camp was sort of like a big sort of wake up call to like, okay, I've got to get my fitness in order. I've got to, wrestling really does hurt, so I have to work something out with that, and all this kind of stuff. So I sort of went crazy. I actually did a seminar with Michael Elgin as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did a seminar in Sydney. And like while we were driving up to Sydney to do the seminar, I listened to his Art of Wrestling podcast. And he was saying like he was a bigger teenager, and then he got into the gym and ate chicken breast and sweet potato for like to lose all the weight and get big. So when I finished the seminar and finished Dream Camp, I ate sweet potato and chicken breasts for a few months straight. Just that, nothing else. Water, cut all that shit out. I lost 30 kilos.
Wow.
I got to 70 kilos, got pretty small. And then, I started training. And then I was like driving up to Sydney every now and then to train with AWF. And then, when I turned 18, I said, this is the date that I'm moving to Sydney. I luckily like found a guy that I train with, and he was like, hey, would you be keen to, like, I've got a place if you need a room. And I was like, I do need a room. Let's do it. So,
wow.
No job, no nothing. I had a job back there, but they pulled me aside to tell me they wanted me to like be the manager. While the manager went on maternity leave, and I was like, I was just gonna pull you aside and say I'm leaving. So then,
do they try and you to stay? They're like, no, like you have to stay and manage.
That was like, we knew that was coming. I guess we expected that. So then I left, and I made a date, and I drove up here, put my whole life in a car, drove up here, moved into this room. Within 2 weeks, I found a job. Miraculously, my life is just this weird thing where everything just sort of things just happen and things fall into place. Yeah, it's really weird. It was a $12 an hour job. Yeah, I am one of those. 100%. It's stupid. Like people around me are just like, what the like? How does that happen? But man, things just happen. Everything just falls. And then it was a $12 an hour job, so it wasn't like a good job. But it paid a bill. I'm not gonna say the bills. It paid a bill. So that was good. But then I was 18, so I had to like grow up and like life. And so I did. I went through AWF, and then I started doing like indie shows like Hunter Valley Wrestling, IWA, Canberra Feds. And I'm really glad I did that. I'm really glad I didn't like start at PWA because I had to grow up and I had to like be an adult and like mature and learn how to adult. And if I had done that at PWA, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now because, it was a tough situation. So, I sort of did it.
That shows a lot. Like to be 18 to go, you know what? Like fuck this. I'm moving out of like what I've grown up knowing, like my whole world, and going to like the Sydney, which would be a pretty intimidating thing, like for anyone, let alone someone who's 18. Like, how was like your family's reaction to all this? Were they just like, okay, have fun?
Yeah, no. My mum. Like my mum's a single mother. She's a single and she's got a disability. She's got like right side paralysis from a couple of strokes. So I've always sort of like, all of us kids have always like been carer for her and sort of helped her in those ways. But she kind of always knew that we sort of all had to branch out and do our things. And she was always super supportive. Man, my mum and my sister was always super supportive from the start. They knew it's what I had to do. And then when I told my mom about like this is the date that I'm going to leave, she was sort of like, that's cool. I don't think you're going to do that though. Which is just her being realistic, not her being mean in any way.
Yeah.
But I guess I was just kind of like I like was always like a loner and pretty self determined. So I was always like, pretty. I'd always kind of do what I wanted to do. So I packed my car on the date that I said, but I drove down the next day. So technically the date worked, but I just set a date and I was like, this is the date. I had no real plan about that date, but I said, this is it. And then I did it. So then I did it. My mom's like super supportive to this day. Like she's so supportive, in everything I do. She's awesome. My sister's awesome. She's super supportive too. They've been to a few shows and I've been down there. My mom's come up here a few times to watch me. I mean, I guess as a mother there, she was worried about me leaving and doing crazy stuff.
Of course.
I mean, it's gonna happen. But I don't know. I guess I was a good kid.
How did you find the dream camps with AWF? Because I heard I've spoken to a lot of guys who really that was their sort of first break, really, or not.
Yeah,
break, I'm getting in there.
Yeah, man. Heaps of dudes came through there, man. Like everyone, like Bonza, Hoffman, JT Robinson, Future Shock. Heaps of people came through there, and then like when I came through, like the Turkish Delight was like my training brother. While I started training, we trained together side by side. And then in came Lucci, Lyrebird Lucci. Then Kai Drake came. That was sort of like the three from AWF, like the mainstays that sort of made the big jump. And yeah, man, we had a lot of fun there. We did a lot of crazy stuff. We sort of got our foot in the door and sort of, learn how to bump, learn how to do some basics, learn how to conduct ourselves, which is something that is one of the most overlooked kind of sort of things in wrestling. I think it's just learning how to conduct yourself. So we learned how to do that, and then I feel like when it was like the perfect time in my life and like my maturity and my age to like go to PWA and like take it seriously. And yeah, the perfect time for that to happen was when it happened. And me and Kai Drake went to a Mick Moretti session at PWA. And it was awesome. And then Kai Drake kept going every day. But I had a job and life and I was stupid. So I didn't. I went every like couple of weeks. And then one day, shit happened in life. Life went crazy. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll sort of dedicate myself to that. So then I started going like 5 days a week to PWA training. And I just kept going. And then it sort of, my life started to sort of shift from all that stupid childish stuff. Switched over to just sort of like taking life seriously and taking wrestling seriously. And then I just trained it up. And then one day, Robbie Eagles messaged me and said, "Hey, I'd like to give you a match. It's Matt Rogers."
Oh, wow.
And it was like early, my first match at PWA was against Matt Rogers. You can imagine how that went.
Yeah.
Imagine how that went.
Yeah.
But it was just the sort of start of sort of everything happening, man. And Matt Rogers is one of my favorite people to wrestle. He's terrifying and he's painful. But he always provided a real challenge when it came to wrestling him, where you really had to like think about it. You really had to dig deep with him. So he was one of my favorite people to wrestle. I really liked that wrestling Matt Rogers.
Is that just like, Matt's a pretty big guy. And I think like you look at like wrestling now, you like guys that are that size, that 6'3", 6'4", and plus, very far and few between. Do you find it hard because of the size difference? Like what was it for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I found it hard, but that was what I fed off. I was always a smaller person in every situation, um, and so I really had to adapt and work out a strategy in my wrestling that fit me being the smaller person every time. So I had to really train my brain when I wrestle to wrestle uh, from the underneath and try to gain any advantage I can as a smaller person. Um,
But guys have made careers off being the underdogs. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
Spike
The
Dudley,
goat,
Mike Newbreak. Yeah, exactly.
the goat, Rey Mysterio, the goat,
The goat. Yeah, Rey
the
Mysterio.
man.
But you know what? Like that's what I find funny is like when people like I speak to old time wrestling fans, they go, intergender wrestling isn't believable. But the night that Rey Mysterio beat Kane and Big Show was like,
Yeah,
let's be serious.
it's all crazy.
Oh, it definitely is. But as far as like, now being like full time in the production side of things and not wrestling, do you still enjoy watching wrestling like from WWE, AEW, and other
Oh
promotions?
yeah, I think wrestling is the coolest thing ever, man. Like I'm super like I love wrestling so much. I watch it differently than I used to, and I probably don't watch it like in the same way as a lot of people. Probably looking at like camera angles and stuff, but also like looking at it from like a wrestlery point of view as well.
Yeah.
So I probably look at like, but I still definitely allow myself to get taken away by it. And I think live professional wrestling is the coolest thing in the world.
Oh,
And
100%.
I don't care who's going to say anything about that. I think it's so cool. So when I go to like live shows and watch live wrestling, like really good live wrestling is just so fun and so like um especially when it's your friends, but when they make magic right in front of you and you just like feel like the energy is it's something it's really insane.
It's
Coolest
like
thing ever.
it's like a live rock show, man. Like pro wrestling is like rock and roll. It's like going
Man,
to a rock and roll show. It's
it's yeah I it's the coolest thing ever. You'll hear me like I'll say that till the end of time. Live wrestling is the coolest thing ever. I haven't been to too many rock shows in my life. I actually haven't been to too many like music, like I haven't been to many like concerts and stuff.
yeah.
In my life, I really missed out on those things. But if they're anything like live wrestling, they must be pretty fun.
I think like it definitely is like music fans and wrestling fans like you share that common interest of why you're there. And I
Yeah,
think like and that's where it is. And I think it's because it's like a little bit out of left field as well, like rock and roll, and you look at the history of that and the history of pro wrestling. And I think that even with it, it's like you're a fan of rock, like you're a fan of wrestling. You're either one or the other. You're not like in between with it. It's like you're either love it or don't.
yeah, absolutely. And like I've seen a few like with wrestling now. Like I've been there with like Private Function
Yeah.
for their show, the Forum, which was awesome, and even just like when Set Me on Fire played at PWA, and I think it's pretty similar, like um, like live music and live entertainment, live theater is very similar to live professional wrestling,
Mm.
especially from a production and like being a part of the crew standpoint. They're such the same industries, man.
Yeah.
Like they're all bred on passion, and like love for this, and it's just everyone comes together to create this crazy magic thing. Like yeah, the music industry and wrestling is super same
Yeah.
industry. Fun fact: my old tag team partner, Jared Idols, with VIP, which you see Joel talking about a lot.
Yeah.
He's been my tag partner for a few years. He was the man. He's now like managing and running a production company.
Oh,
That generally, yeah, so for like theater productions, and like theater shows, stuff like that. He runs down in Wollongong, generally around the Wollongong area.
wow.
And I went to one of his Heathers, the musical.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I've seen the movie.
yeah, the movie sucks. the the Heather's the musical, and this is in
Yeah.
Wollongong, and
Yeah.
it's kind of just like PWA, where I was like, how are people like this talented
Mm.
in Wollongong? Like,
That's crazy.
the musical was incredible, and it was just like in a hall, like a wrestling go show would be, like in one of those halls.
Yeah.
Um, and the talent that was on the stage was incredible. The singing, man, that shit was incredible. I've gone on a tangent and gone way off the subject, whatever
No,
topic you were
not at all,
asking.
dude. Not at all,
But
dude. But like, I think that's the thing. It's like you see something as small as that and think, okay, we're gonna see like people singing off key or like just forgetting lines or whatever
yeah,
like that. And it's not necessarily that. It's like either young people that are just making their way up to that
yeah,
level, or people that have been at that level that just want to sort of scale it back a little bit. You know?
yeah. It was it was like world class. Like, man, like really some of the like. And now I've been a massive musical fan ever since. I need to get out to more things. I
Yeah.
only just started realizing that I need to get out to more things, and then COVID happened.
Yeah, I know.
So now I'm sort of trying to make sure I get out in the world and do some things.
Well, that's why I think like with everything that happened with lockdown, I think wrestling fans and like wrestling shows are going to start to see more crowds at them and tickets selling out quicker, because like wrestling fans who never went to a show are now going to be like, fuck, now that I can go and see wrestling live, I am going to go see fucking wrestling live.
Yeah.
Oh shit, there's a show at
I think
Metro.
like live entertainment, the live entertainment industry in this country is like in the world is going to boom. It's gonna because they've just been deprived of it for so long. The people just want to get out and do stuff. I got to mention the Anarchy in the PWA. You weren't there, but man, that was one of the rowdiest crowds we've had for a PWA show in a long time.
Really?
I think it was a perfect storm of like the mask came off that day.
Yeah.
Like it was just like it's like a nice freedom. It was like a great day to come back, and then like in that last week we sold out, and the crowd was just incredible, man. And that was sort of like the feeling of like, oh, this is the start of the boom of the entertainment industry, which I don't like. I think wrestling, like professional wrestling, is a really incredible piece of live entertainment. And I think the stigma behind professional wrestling needs to be broken. And I think that the professional wrestling can be put in any live entertainment setting and work.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think now people are probably more like now accepting to what pro wrestling is. I think for the longest time, if you're a fan of the business, you're like, you're not going to go and tell just some random, like, you know what I mean? Like you meet some random chick when you think, oh, what are you into? Pro wrestling. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's not one of the things.
Definitely wasn't. Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
now I think it's more like socially acceptable where people go like, oh, pro wrestling. Yeah, cool. Like, and even people that go like, and I've said this before, I took one of my closest friends to a PWA show, not a wrestling fan, not a hater of the business, not a hater of any wrestling product, just someone who just doesn't watch it. And I took him to a show, and like that whole show, he was just like, he was losing his fucking mind. He's like, I can't believe, he goes, I was expecting you to take me to a fucking RSL club, bro. Like this is like next level shit.
Yeah, and that's what is painful, because you know those companies do still exist, and it kind of does suck sometimes. You see people like for their first time going to companies that are running in RSLs and like not putting much effort into like the production side of things. And you just hope that you don't lose a wrestling fan forever. But I do think like I think wrestling has an incredible retention rate, and like once we get people in and once they see what we do, it's infectious. and I think people have this preconceived notion in their idea of what it's going to be, and then we go ahead and we destroy that because it's just an awesome night out. And I think the 18 plus atmosphere added to that so much. And
Just if you can have a couple of drinks and you watch something, you know what I mean? You're loosening up, you're gonna get into it.
man, it's a vibe, it's an experience rather than just sitting down on a chair watching a show.
But I feel like you get that experience because it's like when you're there and it's like the crowd starts chanting at certain things. It's not like, you know, those smaller shows where they're like, oh, okay, is this the guy that grandma's going to clap for or is she going to try and throw a glass at? You know what I mean? Like, it's very definable as far as like what the product that you're watching is. And I think it's, you know, how it's presented is one thing, even from a live atmosphere and getting the crowd's involvement. And that's where I think soon as a crowd feels like they're involved in the product, that's when I think that you get that hardcore audience, that hardcore fan base that really elevates it to the next level.
And that's really what we dedicated a lot of our sort of resources to, was creating a vibe, and creating like an experience out of it. Like, probably my favorite thing to do on a wrestling show day is like when I get to like Factory Theater, and I plug in like the music laptop and I start playing those music, and the guy like tunes it, puts that bass on. There's literally nothing better than just hearing the bass through the floor, and just like, oh man. And then when the show's happening, because they turn that shit right up and everyone's having a good time, man, that shit's so good. So we really put a lot of effort and resources into it. Did you ever kind of a Max Watch show?
I haven't been to a Max Watch show yet. Like, because like actually I was supposed to go to one. I think the last one was
like the most recent one. Open and Velocities.
No, yeah, when was that? Because I think that was around April last year.
Probably. That sounds like around the same time frame.
No, yeah, I didn't go because that was when my my third child was born around the same time, like, within a week or two. And I remember saying to my wife, going, so yeah, like, is it cool if I go to this man? You've just had it, like, I've just had your third child. You think that's wise? I'm like, sorry, lads.
There's like a couple of things that I'll let you off not coming to one of our shows, and that's a pretty good one.
yeah. Oh, thanks, man. You know, I think everyone understood that. So, but you know, sorry, go on.
Max Watts, that was a special place, man. Like, the vibe, the atmosphere in there was incredible. Yeah, as Robert said, Factory Theater is good, but Max Watts is the next level. Max Watts was just like, I remember like the first time we walked in there, because like we were really sort of like, this was right at the start of sort of everything sort of changing, and like we did a Black Label show at Parramatta RSL.
Yeah.
It's an RSL, man. Like they still got
yeah, it is, but it's a big venue.
It's a beautiful venue. Like, it's big, it's good, but like
still
the curtains on the wall are still like beige orange. The carpet's still like orange. Yeah, it's still kind of something. And then we walked into man, when I walked into Max Watts the first time, you stand in the middle of that place and you just like look around. It's just like, this is like special. Progress had a venue. I can't remember what it was called, but they had a big venue they used to run, and they used to run it like regularly.
Yeah.
And when I walked in there, I was like, this is our, insert the name of that venue there. I can't remember what it's called, but man, it was our ace. So that was really cool.
And the show now coming up at Max Watts, like, that's fucking huge. Like,
at the Metro.
At the Metro, sorry. You know, people that are watching from overseas, the Metro is like a big venue in the middle of like the heart of Sydney.
That's it. Joshua Alsteni at the Logic Ballroom was with the Progress venue.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah, man, Metro. I went in there a few weeks ago to check it out. And man, it is going to be incredible. When I say we put a lot of effort and resources into vibe and atmosphere, that place is a vibe. That place is an atmosphere. That place is incredible, man. It's gonna be nuts. I'm sort of putting all my chips in that. I don't know if you watched the show. Oh, you watched it on the weekend. You saw the little video I made.
Yeah.
I sort of put a lot of effort into that video. I'm probably gonna put a lot of effort into a lot of videos coming up for that show. We're really gonna, man. We're gonna put our best foot forward, and I think the vibe for that show is just. And then the best thing is when we walked out of there. You walk out, Starbucks is like right there. McDonald's is to the right, like literally, like location is just
all the things to make it happy wrestlers, right? Coffee and Macca's.
Man, when I get there, coffee straight away, some Macca's. Oh man.
Yeah,
gonna be
100%.
some happy people. But
with show days like at these big venues, like what is a normal time for you to sort of rock up to a show, like that you're working on?
It does depend on like the venue and like sort of what sort of is the thing. Generally like it's like early afternoon. I like to get in as early as we can, so I get there as early as possible. Generally, like we start the day at the academy, loading the truck on the ring, so we get 20 people doing that, and we take the ring there. Like with Factory Theatre, there's a lot happening. There's essentially like 3 different kind of things happening. You got the ring going up, you got the light and rig that we put up around the ring going up, and then you've got us setting up the live stream, and then all that kind of stuff happening. So there's a lot of things happening, and I think you've only really seen me on a like an academy show day, or like not a Black Label show day.
I've seen you on a Black Label show day, but I don't go near you. I just
Black Label show days are a little bit different to other show days.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's a little bit crazy. But I love it. I live for it. I'm the rock star shit, man. Just like wake up early day, like finish at 3:00 in the morning. You sleep, you wake up, you do a bunch of like post-production stuff for the show the next day, and then you get on with your life. And then the thing about like shows is like the week before the show, I'm always putting stuff together, but then it's like, okay, what about the next show? Because we usually announce the next show on the Black Label show. So like I have to make the cool video. I have to come up with the with like the what the graphics are going to be, what's the style of the show, what's the name of the show. Generally, the name corresponds to style. You know, what kind of feeling do I want to present in my videos? And that's a lot to sort of do. So it's always like, yeah, we're planning the next show like way before, and then by the time that show's happening, it's pretty much all we're thinking about is the next show. Then that show happens, and then it's just like next day you wake up, and you know you've got to announce that show, you've got to put tickets, you got to be doing all this stuff. So
no time to really bask in the glory of what you've done previously.
No time, man.
Move on to the next.
I really do really like to take moments like any chance I really can to just sort of like on those Black Label days, especially like on the forum day, I think it was, like when that was happening, there was like when everyone, like I just took quite a bit of time that day to just sort of like breathe and just like, wow, like this is all happening. We're all doing this. We worked really hard to make this happen, and now we're here doing this. You've really got to do that, otherwise you'll never remember what's going on, and it'll just all sort of go into one.
Yeah, it sort of just molds all into rolls into the next show after the next stuff for the next. So.
My life kind of like my timeline of my life is like everything that happens is always like it happened 3 weeks before this event or a week after this event. That's how my calendar rolls. That's how I know everything what happens.
So let me ask you this: what's been your most proudest achievement in professional wrestling, whether it be in ring, production, whatever?
Man, Coliseum 2019 would have to be like super up there, man. 2-day event at Max Watts. We had Orange Cassidy. Man, it was. And then obviously like Matty Wahlberg, Grayson Waller won the whole tournament. He's someone who like who, you know, when I started training, he was also still like he was just training, and we were all just sort of training. And with PWA, when myself, Lucci, Kai, we came in, Paris Silva ended up coming in as well from APWG. Quite a few APWG guys came over. We had like Jude London. We had like and a whole mix of old people. We really built we built a culture. Like I don't think we just sort of built a friendship and we didn't build like a company. Like we really built a culture. And I think like Grayson Waller was like at the front of that culture. He was one of the main people to build that culture. A lot of people went into it. Like Jack Bonza, Robbie Eagles, Madison Eagles, and then like Ricky South, Grayson Waller, Paris Silva, Kai Drake Lucci. We all molded together to build like a culture and like such an incredible family. That to like Coliseum 2019 was like, I did like a whole 4-part documentary on it that I was way over my head about. And like, it was so much work for the time I had, but I did it and I got it done. And we sort of put all of our chips into this weekend. We put so much into that. And it was just like nothing else in life mattered until that day was over. And then like Coliseum 2019, like the last match happened, went off without a hitch. Matty Wahlberg won. I remember I was holding in the tears, and then I went up and I hugged Andrew Rose. And I don't know what he said to me, but I just lost it, man. It was just like a lot of stuff had happened to sort of get to there, and then man, and it all worked. We had like a fan fest earlier that day that I have no idea how that worked and how that went so well, but man, that went well. The whole weekend, just like without a hitch, just all happened, and it was so proud of that weekend. But then, like after that, it just was sort of like everything was just like, okay, we need to go bigger and bigger and bigger. Obviously, the world ended, and everything sort of changed. But no, Coliseum 2019 is definitely like the sort of most I've sort of been proud of something. But I think like right now, if the world sort of stays sane and doesn't end again, I think shit's about to get real.
Yeah.
Like shit's about to go down. Like things are about to get really big and really intense. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready to work. I know like the whole crew is ready to go. And when we're pushing towards like some really big things. So I think the proudest thing is like yet to come. I'm definitely ready to make some really proud moments.
100%. And you know, you mentioned PWA being a culture, and that's something that I've always spoken highly about, from me going to shows to being a part of PWA to a certain extent at the Green Label shows, and how everyone is. It was like, nervous as it was walking into that, like before a show, and like to have every single person come up and be so welcoming, and you could tell just to put those nerves at ease. Everyone there was not one single person that was like rude, obnoxious, anything like that. Everyone was lovely, and I always put it over PWA for being not just world-class professional wrestlers and production, but just being world-class humans.
Yeah.
Which I think quite often gets overseen a lot in life,
Yeah, it's just one of those things where we all just like worked from the ground, and we still do, man. Like wrestling isn't a luxury. It's not a luxury industry to be in. It's not. You're not getting all the ravishing things, man, but it's just like a whole group of people that just were together, a whole family that came together at the perfect time. We just had the most perfect role models in Robbie Eagles and Madison Eagles. Man, the world doesn't give that lady enough credit, man. Madison Eagles she's done so much for myself personally, but just like the whole crew, and she's so special to all of us. And I hope she knows that. And then Robbie as well. he just lives and breathes PWA, man. And he just really gave us all the tools we could. Mick Moretti always flies the flag, and always we can't say enough nice things about all those guys. Just Jack Bonza as well, putting so much into us and everything we do, and it was just like, man, myself, Kai, Paris, Lucci, like Jude, all those guys, man. Ricky South, we're all sort of, well, they're all sort of coming up, and they're all sort of starting to get to the levels, those high levels, and those those switches are starting to flick. And we just couldn't do it without those people and this amazing culture that we built. I think that if people would ask me like what I would suggest other places do, I would just say try and change the culture, and build a culture. Because
do you think culture in pro wrestling is, in other places not, you know what I mean, not as where it should be? Like, do you think that there's like other promotions have got some bad culture? I don't think culture's like promotional based. I think culture is like a people thing. Just so happened all the people were like at PWA. But man, the culture, and it's not up to, I think people put changing the culture up to like the promoter. Oh man, I forgot to mention Jess every time I said that group of people. Jessica Troy, greatest female wrestler in this country, possibly the greatest female wrestler in the world. Put her in those names. But it's not up to like the promoter of these shows. It's not up to sort of it like the legends of your sort of state to change that culture. It's up to you. Like it's up to us. Like we all had to do that. We were lucky that we had, Robbie, Madison, all those people that were also supportive, and they gave us so many tools and everything like that. And they did change the culture. But man, like Grayson Waller, Ricky South, Paris, Jess, Lucci, all those people that I'm trying to say, they really, really changed the culture, like from their level. So like it's not about sort of blaming people and trying to find someone to change that culture. It's about changing the culture yourself. And that's what these people have to do. Like these people that can complain quite a lot about the state of wrestling around them. It's like, man, you could complain about the wrestling around you, or you could really change the culture yourself. Do something about it. Be a better human being.
Do something about it. And it does suck that people probably don't have the group of people to do that. And I got no way to fix that. But
put yourselves in better situations, baby.
It's sort of one of these things where, me, Kai, Lucci, we were over in AWF, Paris, a bunch of other guys, APWG, a lot of guys from other companies, sort of all these people, Jay Sorbet from Down Rock and Roll Wrestling, Backman from Canberra. I'm just trying to think of where the people came from. What we did was, we all came to PWA and we started building like a really good foundation of people. And then sort of from all those places, the people that shared the same values and had the same goals and aspirations as us would slowly sort of one by one come to us. And then that's sort of how we built the culture. So if I was to say sort of anything to other places, it's just, find a place, start building it, the foundation on like hard work and like passion and love for something, and then and let the people that share those same values and share the same aspirations as you join you, and then one by one, and then have yourself a culture, and then you'll start everything. As I said, everything just starts falling into place, and you all work together, you all work hard, and then things just fall into place. Shows start happening, the crowds get bigger.
And you start having more fun with it as well, because it's like, as we said earlier, a lot of people take this thing, way too seriously. Wrestling is go out there, enjoy yourself, put on a banging match, and do what you can.
Absolutely, be the best you, like and just man, wrestling's really cool, and I think we have a really, really cool thing we got going here, and I'm excited for it to like the future of it.
Oh man, I absolutely agree. And seeing where Australian wrestling is at now after like nearly 3 years in being in lockdown, and how it sort of keeps going. And I've said, for the longest time, I think Australia has, the best women's wrestling in the world, the best tag wrestling in the world. And it's like you can't deny it. You know what I mean? Like
Man,
you look at the talent.
I watch like quite a bit of American indie wrestling and UK indie wrestling, and I just think to myself, like, imagine if Jessica Troy was in that ring. Imagine if Cherry Stevens was in that ring. Like, man, it's crazy. And I'm excited. Like, Jess has gone to Mania weekend. Shaz has gone to Mania weekend. They're all going to be there. I think quite a lot of us are going to Mania weekend. I'll be there. That'll be a fun time. Yeah, I'm going to go down. It's my first time leaving the country. I got my passport for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
There's that little small world thing that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And now it's going, and I'm leaving the country. So that's going to be really fun.
And you're going Texas, is it? Or?
Yeah, it's in Dallas. But I'm going to I'm doing the whole touristy LA. I'm doing the whole 9 yards.
Why not, man?
Yeah, man. But then I'm in Dallas for the week. Just gonna hang out with some wrestling. Hopefully film some wrestling. That might be fun. Take some photos. That could be fun.
That's amazing.
I'm excited. I've never left the country, and I love America. I think I've never been there, but I think I'm gonna really love it. I guess growing up with wrestling all my life, I sort of grew up with American culture. Like that's all I watch is wrestling. So like it's the names of cities that I know, like Salt Lake City, Utah. Because from an old VHS I had of a Raw, welcome to Raw. Man, I know all these stupid stuff.
100%. But guys, it is that time of the show. It is time for 60 Seconds with Piers. How this works, if you're new to watching the show, I'm going to ask Jax a bunch of questions. He's got 60 seconds to answer as many as he can. Jax, are you ready to get this?
Not one bit, man. No. Let's go.
All right. Snapchat or TikTok?
Snapchat. Nah, TikTok.
What is your dream car?
Oh man, something that drives. No, Tesla. David Dobrik.
Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Who was your first celebrity crush?
Oh shit. Man, I can't even think. Candice Michelle.
What law would you change in Australia?
What law would I change? Lockout laws in Sydney, if there are any still. Party boy.
Okay, what is your favorite meal to cook?
Oh man, I don't cook much. Frozen pizzas.
Roller coasters, love them or hate them?
I love them, but the idea of traveling somewhere to go to a theme park is crazy to me.
What game show do you think you will be great at?
Not many of them. God, these are hard ones.
Yeah,
go stop. Ready, stop. Ready, go. I don't know what it's called.
All right, last one. In 5 minutes, you are being shipped to outer space. What 2 personal belongings do you take with you, excluding human beings?
Like a cake.
Yeah. Okay. A cake, as in
just a cake, like a chocolate cake or something. I had to think of the first food I can think of. Yeah. What else would be pretty handy? Like a knife, like a really big knife, because if it's a big surface, then it's got heaps of uses. But a knife wouldn't be good in outer space because fuck.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
It's rough because outer space things are rendered useless.
Kind of, yeah.
There's no Wi-Fi in outer space.
I don't know. There might be.
Cake.
It's hard to say.
Cake was the first thing that came to my mind.
Hey, that has been 60 Seconds with Piers. Jax, thank you for coming on the show, man. This hour just sort of flew by. I definitely want to get you on for a part 2 down the track, man. If we can tee it up, dude. It was a great chat. But where can everybody find you on social media?
Oh man, I think I'm I think I'm at Video Boy Jax everywhere. I think I got that all together. It's at Video Boy Jax. Most places, videoboyjax.com for like all my work and stuff like that. And if you'd like to get me into a show, take some photos, do some videos, let's do it. Have some fun. But yeah, you can find me, and I'll just be at most of your local probably shows, all the PWA shows. I'll be there. You might be able to talk to me for about 15 seconds. But I'm a busy man, but I'll be around.
There you go, guys. Huge shout out to our sponsors, healthvape.com and sleeps.com. Use promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Guys, make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. for NXT Roundup with myself in California in Fury. Make sure you tune in. It's something that you not want to miss. Until then, guys, I'm Piers. This is Jax, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. Peace out. Mwah.